I spent the last 3 months reading every major study I could find on tidy people. Papers from Princeton, UCLA, the European Journal of Social Psychology, clinical research on behavioral activation, environmental psychology, neuroscience journals, dozens of them, and what I found genuinely shocked me, because almost everything we assume about people who keep clean homes is wrong. We think they are more disciplined. They are not. We think they enjoy cleaning. They do not. We think they have more free time. They definitely do not. And the real reason they do what they do, it has almost nothing to do with cleaning at all. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you are going to see your own home, your own habits, and honestly yourself in a completely different light. Let me start with the biggest myth, the one almost everyone believes, that tidy people are just naturally disciplined, that they wake up every morning with some iron willpower that the rest of us were not given. It sounds reasonable. You see someone whose kitchen is spotless at 11 at night and you think, wow, I could never. That person must have incredible self-control. But the research tells a completely different story. A study published in the European Journal of Social Psychology tracked how long it takes for a behavior to become automatic. The answer was around 66 days on average. And here is a critical part. Once a behavior crosses that threshold and becomes a habit, it no longer requires discipline at all. It runs on autopilot. The same way you brush your teeth before bed without having some internal debate about whether you feel like it tonight. You just do it. That is exactly what is happening with tidy people. They are not choosing to clean every single day through sheer force of will. They built the habit once, probably months or years ago, and now it simply runs. We look at the output and call it discipline, but what we are actually seeing is automation, and that distinction changes everything. Here's where it gets really interesting. If it is not discipline, then what pushed them to build the habit in the first place? Was it a love of cleaning? Probably not. Ask most tidy people if they enjoy scrubbing a stovetop and they will laugh at you. What the research actually points to is something far more psychological. It is about control. Think about your life right now. How much of it can you actually control? You cannot control what happens at work tomorrow. You cannot control other people. You cannot control the economy, the weather, the traffic on your commute. Most of your day is spent reacting to things you did not choose. And that lack of control, even when it is subtle, creates a background level of stress that sits with you constantly. Now, here is what researchers in environmental psychology have found. Your immediate physical space is one of the very few domains in your life where your actions produce immediate, visible, guaranteed results. You wipe the counter, it is clean. You make the bed, it is made. You wash the dish, it is done. There is no ambiguity, no waiting, no depending on someone else. And every time you act on your environment and see the result, your nervous system receives a very specific signal. I am in control here. I can handle things. That signal is not trivial. It is deeply calming. And for people living in a world full of uncertainty, that small, repeated experience of control is genuinely therapeutic. It is not about the clean counter. It never was. Now let me show you the part that really changed my thinking. There is a concept in psychology called the locus of control. It describes where you believe the power in your life sits. People with an external locus of control feel like life happens to them. Luck, fate, other people, circumstances. People with an internal locus of control believe their own actions shape their outcomes. And the research is overwhelming on this. An internal locus of control is one of the strongest predictors of lower anxiety, higher motivation, and greater resilience. And maintaining your physical environment is one of the simplest daily reinforcements of that internal locus. Every time you restore a space to order, you are telling your own brain, I am someone who acts. I am someone who follows through. Which brings me to the thing I believe matters most in all of this: identity. We do not behave according to our goals. We behave according to who we believe we are. If you believe you are a messy person, you will act like a messy person and then point to your messy apartment as proof that you were right about yourself. It is a loop, but the research on identity-based habits shows that the loop works in reverse too. You do not need to feel like a tidy person to start acting like one. You start acting like one, and your brain collects the evidence and updates your self-image accordingly. Every morning you make that bed, your brain logs it. Every evening you wipe down the kitchen, your brain logs that too. And after enough repetitions, something shifts. You stop being someone who is trying to keep things clean and you become someone who simply does. That is not a small difference. That is the entire game. And here is what none of the productivity influencers talk about: the sensory dimension. A study out of Princeton found that physical clutter literally competes for your attention. It overloads your visual cortex. It taxes your working memory. Even when you are not consciously looking at the mess, your brain is processing it in the background, burning mental energy on things that do not matter. Researchers at UCLA tracked cortisol levels in families and found that people who described their homes as cluttered had measurably higher stress hormones throughout the entire day. Not just when they looked at the mess. All day, your environment is not passive scenery. It is an active input into your nervous system every single hour you spend in it. A clean space signals safety. It tells your brain that things are handled, that you can let your guard down, that it is okay to rest. A cluttered space does the opposite. It whispers that something is unfinished, that you are behind, that there is more to do. And that whisper never stops. So if tidy people are not more disciplined, if they do not love cleaning, if what they have really done is build an automated habit that reinforces their sense of control, strengthens their identity, and reduces their baseline stress level, then the real question is simple: how do you become one of them? The research is clear on this too. First, you shrink the start. The number one reason people avoid cleaning is that they let things accumulate until the task feels overwhelming. A sink full of dishes feels like a project. A single plate feels like nothing. The key is to never let the mess reach the point where it requires motivation. Clean the dish the moment you are done eating. Wipe the surface right after you use it. When you maintain in real time, there is no backlog to dread. Second, you stack the habit onto something you already do. Behavioral scientists call this habit stacking. You already brew coffee every morning, so you wipe the counter while it brews. You already brush your teeth at night, so you straighten the bathroom sink right after. You are not adding a new routine to your day. You are attaching a 30-second action to an existing one. The friction drops to almost zero. Third, and this one matters more than people realize, you make it sensory. Put on music, light a candle, make yourself a drink, turn the 10 minutes of tidying into something your brain actually associates with pleasure rather than punishment. Because here is the truth: your brain will avoid anything that feels like a penalty, but it will repeat anything that feels like a reward. Pair the action with something enjoyable and your brain stops resisting it. And here is the last thing I want to leave you with: the thing that sits underneath all the research and all the psychology. Your home is not just a place you sleep. It is the physical expression of what you believe you deserve. When you take care of your space, you are telling yourself something. You are saying, I matter enough to live in a place that feels good. That message is quiet. You will not hear it consciously, but your subconscious hears it every single day. And over time, it changes how you carry yourself, how much energy you have, how you feel when you wake up and walk through your own front door. So here is my challenge to you. Pick one room, just one, and for the next 7 days, maintain it. Not a deep clean, just maintain it. keep it the way you would want to find it if you were walking in for the first time. Do that for 1 week and then come back and tell me nothing changed. Tell me you did not feel a little calmer, a little more focused, a little more like someone who has their life together. Because that is really what this is about. Not a clean kitchen, not a made bed. It is about becoming the kind of person who shows up for themselves in the small moments that no one else sees. And those small moments, they are the ones that matter most. If this changed how you think about your space, subscribe because I go deep on topics like this every single week. Drop a comment and tell me which room you are choosing for your 7 days. I genuinely want to know, and I will see you in the next one.